Welcome back, Collective. So, we are here with Angel. And if you listen to my last reflection, I spoke about us doing reality TV reviews. And we are back with, well, we are here with our first one. And welcome back, Angel.
Thank you for having me.
But as I mentioned in my reflection, we have been watching these shows and talking about them at length probably since about I only remember as early as 2018. That's as far back as my memory goes, because mine starts with The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because I didn't watch any of the other Housewives shows. Do you remember that? You were on to OC in New York. Like, I got into those after Atlanta because you told me I had to watch those also. But if I remember correctly, Atlanta and New Jersey started at the same time. Is that right?
I don't know, but Married to Medicine started in 2013, and I remember it
Did?
clearly because my aunt told me about it, and she is the reason I started watching my Aunt Joyce. So, yes, I remember season 1, episode 1, Mariah and Toya fighting.
Fighting at that pool, and apparently Dr. Heavenly was there also. Like, in
Yes.
later episodes, it came out that she was there. But
Mhm.
so in the finale episode, well, to go back a little bit, we're more than qualified to do these because we are reality TV watchers, even going back to Real World. Like, we are,
Yes.
like, the original reality
Heather
TV.
B, Kevin Powell. Yes,
Yes. And what was the dude, the black guy's name? Was it Nate? Was his name Nate? Do you remember? What was his name?
are you talking about David with Tammy and
David! It was
yep.
David and
That was a couple's yeah, yep.
and
That was a
all of
different house.
them. Yeah,
Pedro,
Pedro,
Pedro
may he rest in
Zamora.
peace. May he rest in peace. But, yeah, so original reality TV girl is here. This is
Yes.
what we do. This is what we've been doing for the last 20, 30
30. That's
years,
30 years.
30 years.
33 or 34, because that was 1992.
Oh my, and Tammy Roman with her AB origin. I don't know if you can say it on here,
Can
but
you
that was so sensational when it happened because, like, it was like a thing that she was. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, so it's been a long time that we've been watching and talking about these shows, and we decided to do something with Married to Medicine because it's one of the few shows that we both still watch and we both still love. So, in this finale, Toya was in charge. Well, her and Jackie were in charge of the Met Gala, and this was the episode where they actually attended the Met Gala. But the lead up to it all is that I guess previously Toya was not as active as the other girls wanted her to be in planning the Met Gala. So they thought to have her and Jackie do it to kind of get her back, but it backfired a little bit.
it did, and people wanna say that she didn't donate anything, but that wine, I don't
Huge.
know if people understand when you're planning an event, there's caterers, you have
Yeah.
to have alcohol and all of that, so if she donated $1,000, $3,000 worth
Yes,
of wine, that is something that can go back towards the cause. That doesn't mean that she did not participate at all. It means that she
absolutely.
didn't give money, but she gave something that took away from the expenses on the back end. So,
Absolutely.
um,
And she
yeah.
kind of opened the door for sponsors, right? Because
Mhm.
essentially that's what she did with her wine. She acted as like a sponsor for the event because didn't she have like a wasn't she in partnership with like Kendall Jackson or something, like one of those wineries? She had a partnership with them.
She
She
did,
had her own wine club.
right, a couple seasons ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that that was more than sufficient. And I'm sure, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm sure her and Eugene also purchased the table, or maybe not. I don't know. But, they were trying to get her back to do a payback. But Toya she outdid them all, I think, because I think that
She
of
did.
all the galas that I've seen, this was by far the best one.
It was the best one, and she set them up for success going forward. So people can say, well, last year they raised more money and Phaedra did this and Phaedra did that.
Hmm.
Whatever they said she did, she
She did it.
100% did that.
Hmm.
But it's like it's supposed to get better as it goes
Every
forward.
year.
I thought this one was well executed. I thought a lot of the drama though was contrived because I just
Mm.
find it hard to believe that someone would say, "No, I'm not gonna participate. I'm not going to give to this charity. I am not going to pay for a ticket," at the door. It was ju you know what it was giving to me, like, at that door? it was given season 1, episode 1, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Remember when Nene
Oh,
showed up to
the
Sheree's
charades
party and they
party,
stopped her and they're
and
like,
she
"You're
wasn't
not on
on the
the list."
list. Oh,
But the difference
yes,
is people are like, "Well, why were they singled out?" Nobody else was there.
right.
It was empty. It's not like it was a line and they were embarrassed. That's why I'm like, "What is this?" Because nobody's around. No, it's
Mhm,
not like they made a scene about it. Yeah, could they have deliberately stopped them at the door? Possibly, but again,
absolutely.
nobody was there. So why not just buy the $300 ticket, go in, if Jackie has them at her table, give them their money back or whatever, but if you knew you didn't pay, I don't like, I just find it hard to believe that Mimi what's his name? Steve, that they just,
Mhm.
you know, I just think it was a little bit contrived. That's just my
Mm. I hadn't thought about that until you brought that up, but you're right. Like that was it was given season 1 of Real
Yeah,
Housewives of Atlanta because why would they think that they could come and not buy a ticket? And then why make such a big deal? I don't understand why they would decide that it would be a good look to not contribute, to say we're out, we're not. It's a charity event. It's a write off
right.
on your taxes. You're a doctor. You're a black female doctor. So
Yes.
you are acutely aware of the challenges that black doctors and black female doctors face, especially in this climate that we're in, where all of these schools are being defunded, the funds are being taken away. So you would think that it was more important now than ever. So I think that it's kind of like a shame on them for even saying that they weren't going to contribute. You're not going to give to a charity because your wife wasn't involved in the planning.
Right.
That's
You
insane
know,
to me.
that's how it's been historically. Jackie has kinda led it. They said Toya didn't help. Like, every season, nobody was 100% on board with the
Mhm.
planning, but everybody was present at the
Right.
event. They contributed wine or money or whatever it was, but this is the way it's no different. The only difference is the fact that it's Toya this year, and I think that because it's Toya, they wanna teach her a lesson. I mean, and we can discuss how we feel about Toya because I feel like Mariah was the only other person that
Was married
could
to
be
medicine
right, married to medicine,
and
and
not a
then
physician.
you have these wives like Simone said in that clip.
Mhm.
Was it the reunion clip where she said Toya keeps an
Yeah.
impeccable house
Mhm.
and like she does what she wants to do and she's taken care of by her husband and she's doing a good job of it. So it's like they wanted her to not be successful in what it was she was doing. And I just don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that these professional medical professionals really wanted that to fail.
But, I mean, like, when we think about Toya and the way that she's perceived by the group, that's been the issue all along, right? Like, that was the issue with Mariah and the
Uh,
group, right? Because she was like I guess she was a co-creator of the show and helped cast it. And I think that I don't wanna say they because the people say it was Dr. Jackie was intimidated by Mariah and the influence that she had, so they all kind of colluded to get her off the show because they felt
mhm,
like it was getting too big for her britches. But it seems like, and this is something that we've talked about, that these women, these really smart, these really educated women who are in positions where they perhaps are the breadwinners of their family, they resent the Toyas of the world who are taken care of very well by their spouses. And they
mhm.
minimize her contributions in every way. Like they
Her
minimize
intellect,
everything she does. Her
everything.
Yes.
Like
Even though
she's
she's
educated.
educated. Yes.
Yes. She's smart. She is not just some bird brain
Right.
and I think that's what bothers everybody. And not everybody, because I don't think even though Simone will, she says stuff. I don't think that Simone, like everybody has this picture of Simone. I think Simone is one of the most real because she
Yeah.
is vulnerable about her relationship with her husband, when they
Mhm.
were separated and getting back together, bringing her kids on
Mhm.
and the way they are
Oh my
and some of
god,
her
yes.
frustrations with all the
Yes,
hours. Remember they had 2 houses and she would sleep at one house and go to work and then they had the
yes.
family. So she has been completely candid about her entire life. One of the most open women that
Mhm,
are a part of that group. Whereas Heavenly, she has this persona of their marriage where she is not necessarily forthcoming about anything that's going on.
mhm.
And, but that's her decision. But
It
yeah, I think that
is.
Simone is very, very real, even though she gets a lot of hate for some of the things that she says and does. But I like Dr. Simone. She's
I
one of
do
my
too.
favorites.
I like her a lot. I do. I really like her a lot. And I always had a level of respect for Dr. Jackie, but I think as the show has gone on, and I think that my perspective of her changed when she aligned herself with Heavenly and how she's kind of doubled down on that because I think that Heavenly may be a good person in real life, but I don't even know how you could be so totally opposite on camera. Like, if you're a good
Mhm,
person, the way that she portrays herself to be and a good friend, I don't see how she could be something completely different on camera because she seems to have an extra special level of resentment. Like, she had it towards Mariah and she also has it towards Toya, but not
mhm.
toward Quad. Quad does not have a husband. She does not have a family and she's somehow able to live a life that seems to be comparable to theirs, but she doesn't catch the amount of hate from Heavenly that Toya does, and to me, it just seems misplaced. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand it because at some point Heavenly was close to Simone. Like, well,
Yeah.
so what is the reason for the situation with Simone? Although somebody said something about Simone holding a grudge, and Simone is a grudge holder, but I think it's realistic. Like, I support the grudges because if you come from my husband online and you have an exchange with him and then it kind of carries over and it keeps, it's manifested here, even with the whole thing with her looking up values of homes and stuff
Mhm,
online, and
mhm,
it's just a level of trust, when it comes to Heavenly and her friendships. She's just somebody that I would be worried if I ever told her something and I was vulnerable about it, she would bring it back up. She's done it to Contessa. She's done it
mhm,
to Simone. She's done it to Toya.
mhm,
Why are we still talking about the size of Eugene's
mhm,
package?
mhm.
All of the why is that even important? Why are we discussing that at this point,
And then
all
in
these
the
years later?
And then in the next breath, she wants her marriage to be off limits. She wants her
Right.
family to be off limits, but she's willing to go there for everyone else's. And also to add to that, she kind of threw Jackie under the bus this season also, because even when Jackie was saying, well, we wanted Toya to do it because we felt like she would do well at it. And Heavenly was like, no, that's a lie. We didn't want her to do. We wanted to give her a piece of her own medicine. So she's even done it to a degree to Jackie also, like, she's
Mhm.
done it to everybody, like, she does not and I don't understand. I just think that people like Heavenly, like, the character that she's portraying has to be a certain type of miserable to always wanna strike somebody first, like, you always wanna say the worst thing about somebody so that when they say
Right.
something about you, it's not as believable or it's not as bad as where you went with them, like, she's willing to go to a level of hell that no one else seems to be willing to go to. Like, she's
Yeah.
just willing to go there. And it's
Right.
kinda sad, and one thing that I hated to see Steve come for Eugene in a way that nobody has come for Damon. And Heavenly has said the most disgusting things, and he has had her back. He has stood with her, and nobody has ever come for him on the level that Steve is coming for Eugenia. I feel a type of way about him and Dr. Mimi also, because I
Mhm.
think that they would have been a good addition to the show, but they kind
Mhm.
of, you know
Align themselves with Heavenly.
Right, right, they borrowed a beat that was never theirs. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I
I
think that Steve is probably more like Toya than he would like to admit, bitch. I mean, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, except that Toya is cooking dinner. He working in Mimi's office and coming
Right.
home, and she had to cook dinner too. That's crazy to me.
Right.
That's
Right.
insane. And she needs
Eh,
validation from him. She needs him to tell her that she's doing a good what?
right.
And you're doing everything? That's crazy to me. That's her own insecurity.
I
So,
think so too. And I mean, I think Eugene is such a good husband and he doesn't care what people say about him. Does Toya have a mouth? Yes. I
absolutely.
mean, she does, but she admitted it. It's realistic because I think some people will kinda mask whatever it is they wanna say for the cameras, and Toya just says whatever.
Mhm,
She says stuff and she'll come back and say, "Okay, that maybe that's something that I shouldn't have said," but
mhm,
again, I think whatever they're showing is very realistic. I think their marriage is healthy and it's is balanced and he's supportive. And
Mhm.
to some degree, all of the men have been involved in what the women have going on. Like they'll
Yeah.
talk about it behind scenes. And because Eugene was more vocal about them wanting her to fail, it's like, well, now he's Mr. Bush or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, I have to believe it's contrived. I can't believe it's real. I don't believe that Mimi would purposely not align herself with the event. And let's talk about too, Heavenly and Simone and the hug, like where Heavenly said
Oh,
that, she slapped her. I'm like, you were
oh,
hugging her, and she's like, don't hug me. Get
don't
your
hug
like,
me.
yeah.
Yes.
Why was that blown up to be like it
Your
was some
fault.
sort of physical? Right. Like,
Yes. That was
are you really saying this
despicable.
medical doctor was assaulting you? She went to hug you. She didn't want that. You wanted to hug her. She didn't want that fake energy, and she pushed you away. Like,
Yes. She
yeah,
removed your hand off of her, but somehow in your mind, she assaulted you. But that's just
right,
an example of what Heavenly does. Like, that's like a very clear example of how she takes things and she twists it to kind of fit her own narrative, which
right,
is sad. Like, it's sad to think, and she believes it, and she was
right.
like doubling down on it. Like, that is not what happened. Like, you're really okay with saying something that could potentially damage her reputation and her standing just so that you're not the
The villain.
villain. The
Yeah,
villain, like, you're
because it's
willing
like
to
you're not gonna continuously go back and betray my trust, and then you're gonna try to hug me when I walk up. Like, I don't think so. I
and
don't think
then,
so.
like they said, she's saying, "I'm sorry," but she's gonna turn around and do the
And do
same
it again.
thing because that's what she's done, that's what she's shown over and over and over again. I think what probably disturbs me the most is like, I can understand how to be on this show, Contessa maybe had to pipe down a little bit, but I kinda hate how she gives it like, she just seems to straddle the fence a lot. Like, that was very disappointing to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the way that Contessa kinda straddles the fence, like, you know what Toya is up against. Like, you know what some of the other girls face. Like, the way that she straddles the fence to me was a little bit disturbing because you know Heavenly's trash just from what she did with you, like the way that she took what you told her and threw it in your face, which to me is unforgivable. Like, I wouldn't have
Right.
been able to it would have been on site every time I saw Heavenly. We couldn't be friends, we couldn't be nothing. Like, if I'm vulnerable enough and I share to you what's going on or what's happening in my marriage, in my life, and then you throw it in my face in the public,
Yeah.
we're not friends. We were never friends if you could do that to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
How they were comparing Contessa's birthday party to Brandy's dinner. I'm like, who brought that up? Like,
Mm.
who brought up oh, your husband's paying for dinner. Okay.
Like, why was it a
Like,
thing?
right. Take this credit card, go eat
Right.
wherever you want to eat. That's something that who doesn't do that?
Who
That's
doesn't
not
do it?
exceptional. That's nothing but that's what I'm talking about. Contrived. It's like,
Right.
who said she had 8 Ball and MJ? Where was that footage? Is what I want to know.
Right.
Because she had
Right.
them, she had like a concert at that
At
birthday
her
party.
party? Really?
Yes, she said it more than one
I
time in
missed
more
that
than one
part.
interview. She said it more than once because she was
That
like,
must
8
be the
Ball and
Atlanta
MJ.
thing.
Yeah, they
I'm not in Atlanta.
performed at that birthday party, and they did like a low key concert. So that
Wow.
party was everything.
Wow.
I think they downplayed it. They, kind of downplayed
Mm.
what the party was to make it seem like she's got all these issues with Scott. Contessa knows who she's married to. Some men are thoughtful in some ways and not other
Uh,
ways. Some
yes.
husbands are just going to give you all of the gifts. They they're just different. They're wired differently because he may not be thoughtful in certain ways. That doesn't mean he's not a good husband.
And I don't get the comparison anyway. Like, I'm not gonna compare what my husband does for me to what your husband does for you. 'Cause I
Right.
have a friend like that who's always talking about, "Well, my husband would never." And, it takes everything in me to be like, "Girl, my husband would never." Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I don't go there. I don't compare, like, well, you know what,
Right.
my husband is for me. Like, what we got going on works for us, and I'm
Right.
assuming that what you got going on works for you, and we'll talk about what they have going on off camera because I don't wanna bring it up on here, but it's like, I don't sit there and be like, "Oh, my husband would never. I would never." I
Right.
don't do that. Like, why would I? My husband is for me. That's what we have going on. This is our thing, and
Right.
Contessa is the only one that has to live with Scott. That's the father of her children. If she like it, everybody else should love it. I couldn't
Right.
personally see myself married to a man who could withhold from me that our son was arrested and got into a confrontation with the police. For me, that's unforgivable, but that's me.
Mhm.
Perhaps for her in her marriage, it works. But this is at that point, it's not even about the marriage. This is our child, whether it's grown or not. As the parent to this child, I should have been aware. Although the streets are saying she did know, she just tried to play dumb for the show, but to each his own. Do you know what I'm saying? To each their
But
own
she just has a history of not being forthcoming as far as what's going on
with her
in her
family.
marriage, and shame on y'all for trusting her with your business because that wouldn't be
Yeah,
somebody like we if we're gonna be friends and we're gonna talk about marriage, then it's gonna be reciprocal. Like it's not
right,
gonna be me bringing you my business and you're like, oh, my marriage is perfect.
right,
My husband can never, he can like that's not gonna be someone that I'm gonna talk
right.
to. We're not gonna have a productive conversation and both be vulnerable in what we share with each other. It's just going to be one sided. And then 100% of the time, when this person gets upset, she's going to go back and throw in your face whatever you
Mhm.
told her about your husband. No, ma'am. That's why I was like, certain people align themselves with Heavenly and they ride for her, like Funky Dineva, who we love, but he has a friendship with Heavenly. I believe that it's like a thing. This is the role. This is who she's sent to play. This is who she's going to be, but it doesn't necessarily reflect who she really is.
But did you see that they Dineva has done some reflecting lately on friendships, and I wanted to know, is it he didn't say who it was, but you have to watch. I think it was yesterday, he was talking about
Oh,
people who don't call him back and how his friendships are changing, and I was like, "Ooh, I wonder if
I
he's talking
love him.
about Miss
Yeah.
Thing here." And I wonder, are they really friends? Or because didn't she do his teeth? Like, are they really
Yeah.
friends, or is it an exchange of something that they have? Like, is there I always question if we have beef and you become friends with the person that I'm having beef with, like, that's not a real friendship, and it's gonna
Yeah.
fall apart, right? So I always wonder how genuine their friendship really was, because 'cause I'll never forget, he was the first one that's when Quad said that Mariah was doing drugs, he was the first one that was like, "Well, the only way Quad would know is if she was doing it with her." Do you remember that? He said
Vaguely. Yeah.
that. He said that,
Hmm.
so it was like, "Oh, so what's happening here? Did they become friends because he knew? Like, how did these friendships develop and how authentic are they? Like, how authentic are these friendships?" But it's
Yeah.
interesting when you talk about contrived drama because I think that's something that we watched change as reality TV has evolved. Like where the
Mhm.
drama used to be organic, it used to be real, like, you could
It
see,
did.
but now it's almost like you can see, like, when things don't line up, you're like, "Okay, this is the producers creating drama, like, this is
Right.
the real drama." So it's kinda disappointing also because it's like reality TV is no longer authentic. We may as well watch scripted TV if this is
Right.
what we're getting, right?
Right. Cause I mean, I'm 100% sure that Mimi, who she was last season, which was just even killed, cool, they brought
Mhm.
her back. But if they hadn't brought her back, it wouldn't have made a big difference because she was just easy.
Yeah.
But this season now she's a little bit more difficult. They
Mhm.
brought their child in and their struggles as parents with him being on the spectrum. It's
Yeah.
like there's a level of vulnerability that's there. Now she's aligned herself with Heavenly, she's beefing with Toya, and there we have it.
Yep.
So I don't know. I wonder. I don't want to believe that that's who these women really are in their profession. But what are your thoughts on Quad and King?
I always thought that she brought him on to get back. I didn't wanna go so far as to say that the relationship was fake because that's so Real Housewives of Atlanta season 5 whenever Kenya came
Mhm.
on with Walter or whatever. Like, you would think
Mhm.
people aren't still doing this. Or what was the lady that relationship wasn't fake from OC, Vicky and Brooks. Was his name Brooks? That was a
Yeah.
real relationship that just ended
Yes, that
being
was a
trash.
mess. Yes.
But you would think I wanted to think that she wouldn't do this, but I think the people, like, the streets called it out first. They called out how he just did not seem to be that into her. And then now, we see that they're no longer together. And it's just so different. Like how you start this season wanting to do this IVF thing. And then him saying that he could have bought another car and them going to Africa to do it. And then them breaking up. It just really makes you wonder. And then didn't she say that he proposed to her?
And
She said
she
that
said no.
he said
And
something
it's like
different.
well, why I don't understand for the life of me because this is what they are dragging Cardi B for. Like, how you go from being someone's wife, neither of you have any kids. You don't want to have kids with your husband, but then you go and you find this man. Like, I didn't realize he had kids at first, but you go and find this man that already has kids. And so now you want to have kids with him. You want to be one of however many, you know,
When you could have been a single parent in the first marriage, you could have got had a
right.
baby and got divorced and just been a single parent.
Right, who waits until they're in their 40s to
40s.
do that? I mean, I would have
Mm.
more respect if you just went and you said, "My biological clock is ticking. I'm here getting a sperm donor. This is what I'm prepared to bring to the table, but I'm not gonna have kids with someone who already has kids with someone else. Like, what is that?" And but I felt like
Without
he
being
was as
married
a
too, like, without
right,
being
you're not
married,
you're
and
not married to him. It doesn't make like,
respectability.
yeah, physically, he's good. He looks great physically.
Mhm.
Like, I
He's a nice
understand
looking
what
man.
and he did exactly what if they said that's what she was doing, that's what she did because,
Yeah.
we got this young, tall, dark, handsome man,
Mhm.
and then we have Dr. Gregory over here, and he was heated. They were going back and forth last season, and, mission accomplished. And
Yeah.
now here we are this season, and
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. I thought their relationship was real. I thought that I believe it's exactly what he said. He said that he was into her at first, and then with the IVF journey and traveling back and forth to Africa and the hormones and everything that it takes to go through that, that can take a toll on a relationship. It's a lot of time and energy that you're putting into this when you're like, I already got kids. I'm doing
Yeah.
this for you. I don't want
Yeah.
that. I want you to want to have a child with me. Like you're the one I want to be the mother of my child. That's what I want. I don't want, yeah, if you want a baby, I'll give you
I'll give
one.
you one. And not only that, like, y'all have to go and it has to be, and I don't wanna, diminish fertility struggles, but this is a woman in her 40s,
Hmm.
right? So this is a woman who's in her 40s. She's having fertility issues, and y'all not even just having this baby the natural way. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, she's in her 40s, y'all going all the way across the world
Continent, yes. Yeah, the world.
to
Right,
try to
right,
have a baby, right?
right.
To Africa, like, to try to have a baby, and it just seems so, like, and you remember she said something to Sweet Tea last year on
I
Reunion
don't
about,
remember that. I've seen people say that. What did she say?
girl,
Because
she
I'm like,
said
what did she
something about
say?
Sweet Tea promising, getting in Greg's DMs, promising a baby that she still hasn't been able to produce. And it's like, as a woman, like, you just don't ever talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just some places you don't go. And talking
You
about another
don't,
woman's fertility when you don't have any kids and you want to have one, it's just like,
baby.
no,
You
ma'am.
better decide that you don't want them because we know firsthand. I mean, and we weren't in our 40s trying to be pregnant.
Right.
We were in like that can happen to
To anybody.
anybody. It can
Yes.
happen to anybody. So it's
Yes.
definitely not something you should speak on and then expect people to be sympathetic when the shoe
Yes,
is on
when it
the other
happens to
foot
you.
for you.
Yes.
So
Yes, and
yeah.
that just brings up a whole other dynamic, like, when women, and I don't know if it's for women of our generation because perhaps freezing our eggs, like, having them wasn't
Hmm.
really a reality for us. Younger women will probably, but for women our age, and Quad isn't our age, we still have probably 7 or 8 years on her still. But,
Hmm.
when you think about, you spend all of this time by yourself and living your life and, hoeing around in your 20s and 30s, and then, you get into your 40s and you wanna have a baby and you realize that that biological clock that you've been ignoring continues to tick. Like, it can,
Hmm.
and these things happen, not to say that they wouldn't have happened if she was in her 20s or 30s, but we can't ignore the fact that fertility issues occur once we get up, and I mean, I was 38 when I had Arian, and you
Hmm.
know what I went through just having him. The issues
Yeah.
I had just having him at marrying my husband at 33 or and then not being able to have a baby when I already had kids. Already,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So, you just don't think about these things when you're younger.
You don't. You do not. And I
Take it
was
for granted. We
34
take our
and
youth for granted. That biological clock is gonna keep ticking.
it yes, I remember at 34 they referred to my pregnancy as a geriatric one. And I'm like, I thought that was 35. It's like,
They're like,
no,
"If
they
you're
was
gonna be
calling that,
35 when you have the baby, you
and I was
still"
not 35 when I had him.
Girl.
It was still geriatric.
Yes.
I delivered before I was 35. It was geriatric. And
Yes.
it's like, it's very difficult. So, I mean, while my heart goes out to her, we have to be sympathetic and support one another when it comes to that because we just never know the cards that
What's
we will
gonna
be dealt.
happen?
You just think, I'm ready to have a child, it's gonna happen. That's people don't even understand how the cycle works and fertility and when you're ovulating. It's so much deeper than that. There's what, like 1 week of ovulation per month where you
Per
can
month.
actually, in some instances the window is
It's
smaller for
smaller.
other women. It's like there's a fundamental understanding that goes into that people don't have, and it's like it's nothing to play around with.
It's not.
So,
It's like science, math, advanced mathematics. It's literally God. Like when you think about the things that people have to do in order to recreate it, the
mhm,
ovulation calendars, the hormones, everything that they have to do in order to create something that God designed. Like it's just insane when you think about it. Like science just really blows my mind. Like it really does, especially a woman's reproductive system. Like
mhm.
it's so complex. It's more complex than we even realize, even when you think about what women go through leading up to like puberty and then, everything all the way
Mhm.
into having babies and then menopause and then postmenopause. It's a process. All of it
Yeah,
is.
it is. It really is. Who are we missing discussing
Oh,
this?
Angel. We haven't discussed Angel. Angel. Is that her last name? Her last name is
Yes.
it Love? Angel Love?
Mhm.
Is that her name? I was
Yeah.
a little bit disappointed in her. I was very
Oh,
well,
it's t
I was a little bit impressed. I was very impressed with everything that she has going on. Like, I love
mhm.
that she's so multifaceted. I love that she's pursuing acting. She's going to school to be a nurse practitioner. She has her own scrub line. She's a single parent. I love that she's doing so many things. But I was a little bit disappointed in her. I think anytime somebody comes on blindly writing for somebody else, to me, that's a turn off. Like, if you can't
Yeah,
be objective, like, we're too old to just be blindly loyal. Like, we should be able to
right,
be objective and still maintain our friendships.
right. And that kinda goes back to that type of drama because we remember Angel from Basketball Wives. Like, that clip has been circulating with Tammy and Buffy at that table
Mm,
where Buffy was like, "You said," Tammy's like, "You said it was on site, and,
yeah,
if my daughter wasn't here," and Tammy's like, "Well, she's not here."
she's not
And
here.
people are just realizing that was Angel
That was her.
next to Tammy, and she was kinda sitting there, and I just think that's who she is. She's not one she's if reality TV requires a lot of drama, that's not who she is.
Mhm.
So, even with the whole Toya thing, um, would I have gone up to her in front of her date and said something to her
Probably
about that?
not.
No, but it's like that's such a small conversation. Like, how you gonna do that in front of my date? And Toya would
Right.
have been like, "Oh, my bad." But it's like I understand that unless you're actively hooking her up with another doctor, I don't see what
What
the
the
big
issue
deal
is.
was. But it's like that was another incident that got dragged. Angel is bigger than that. She has a career, even though I do want her to come back because I want to see if she's going to find a husband or because
Mhm.
she's in the medical field. So she definitely belongs there, even though she's not married to medicine. She is a medical professional, but she's interesting. I like her. She's smart. I love when they bring the smart women in. So
Yes,
I'm here for it.
yes. I also like well I think with Angel and the Toya situation, like, I understood Toya's if she's introducing her to a friend of hers, like, I would've been taken aback too, like, "I'm trying to hook you up with my friend, and you here with some dude that feel like y'all
Right.
dating, what's really happening?" But like you said, it's a conversation that could have occurred at another time.
Right.
I don't think that girl code, because Angel tried to say, "Well, it's girl code, I'm a girl's girl." But when it comes to friendships, like, that's off the table. I'm not a girl. I'm not your girl, or there's no girl code when it comes to my friend outside of this. My real
Right.
friend, right? Outside of
And was there an actual man that she had in mind for Angel? Had they met? Had they been having conversations over the phone? I don't and then also, even in the reunion clip coming up, somebody mentioned age shaming to Toya, and she's like, "Well,
I'm
almost 50,
50.
so we gotta give Toya some grace too, because Toya is probably perimenopausal,
Yes.
I can just tell the stuff that she says, she's a lot more reactive than she has been in the
In the
past. And I
previous
think that's what
season.
it is. It's like, you know
Yes.
how we were younger and we're like, my mother just says anything. My grandmother just says anything.
Yes.
Like she's getting to that point where whatever is on her mind, she's going to say it.
There's no
And it's like, we
filter.
got to give her some
Yes.
grace. So in that moment, she came and she did something that maybe we wouldn't have done, but both points were valid.
They
But
worked out.
again, that was not something that deserved all of the drama. And also, I want to know more about this guy that Angel brought on. Like, what is the reason you just want to be friends? Well, why do you keep bringing him? What did he do in the past? How did he mess up? He showed up on that trip to
He
Jamaica.
did. He
Was
did.
it on his own dime? I don't know, but he was there. It was
He was
impressive.
there
So, what did he do that you entertain him on camera, but you won't entertain him off
in real
camera to be
life.
with? Yeah,
Right,
I
and
would like to
which
know.
kinda makes you look at her differently too, right? Like, you're willing to exploit whatever is left of this relationship for TV, but not willing to entertainment in real life. That kinda says something about her too, I think, like, from my per what's his name, Bernard? Was that his name?
I
What
think
was his
so.
name? Bernard.
I think so.
So that kinda
It's
makes
like,
you look at
yeah,
her
you wouldn't get
differently.
that.
'Cause why
You
does
wouldn't
he
get that
care?
camera time. I'm here on this show. You do something to me. You're not coming on this episode
Right.
with me if you're not somebody that
A real contender. A real
right
contender.
or a real friend. Like you can,
Right.
I have friends. I have a friend I could bring on the show
Real
and just make it
friends
seem like it's something when it's not.
do
But that's my real friend. Yeah. No, the real friend with the lowercase f. But if I'm gonna allow you to come on this show and be seen with me, then there's gonna be some sort of history and some sort
right,
of loyalty. It's not gonna be somebody that did me wrong, and I'm like, "Oh,
right.
come
Like
join me and
a
film with
throwaway.
me."
Like, now you know
Yeah,
to say,
like,
"Oh, it
no.
didn't work out." That's
Right.
crazy. It's
Like, I'm not the one
crazy.
for that.
I
Yeah.
kinda side-eyed her for that, like, "What do you really have going on here? Because it's looking like nothing, like, it's giving
Yeah.
nothing, you know?
Yeah.
But I loved Brandy, I loved her and her husband, I love that they was real, like, "Look, my kids start school, we don't have no family down here,
Right.
so we popping in and out." I thought that was so real. I loved
Yeah.
her, I loved everything about her, I loved how she didn't fall into the whole Mimi was like, "You need to learn to pick your friends." She was like, "I'm a grown ass woman." I was like, "Okay,
Right. And it's like, why are
okay."
you telling her that? That was just yeah. That I don't know.
Let's talk about Curtis trying to tell people what's biblically correct for marriage.
Let's talk about how Jackie does not want anybody to reference that whole lap thing with Toya and Kurt. It's like she don't want you to bring none of that up. And
She don't wanna bring up the affair, she don't wanna bring up him pulling Toya down, or she don't wanna bring up the fact that he's never there. Like, he doesn't work, but he's on a golf trip in Canada. Who goes to Canada to golf? Like, what? That was
yeah, that
crazy. That was
yeah.
crazy. Like, their whole marriage is giving like they're not really married. Like, they're just together just because they've been together for so long. Like, they're not really
Yeah.
together. But I don't know. Like, I just think that Curtis is the last person that should have been giving anybody any type
Yeah,
of advice.
I'm
Like,
like,
he just should have stayed out of it. Like,
right. But again, what are you saying that for? Like, somebody's gonna bring that infidelity up. And King said it like you're the last person to be trying to give
yep.
us any advice on in that. And so you don't think that God blesses people with children when they're not married? I mean,
Hello. Like,
and
it happens.
is this even a thing? No, it is not a thing. And
Mm-mm.
it's not for you to determine like that's why y'all can't have a kid because you're not married.
Yes, and
What?
your wife is her doctor, like, your wife is
Right.
her OBGYN. You're gonna say that's what like, that was so
Right.
crazy, like, who are you? Who are
Right.
you, and who gives you the right to and then it was just sad because they flashed back to Jackie in earlier seasons wanting to entertain the conversation of having a child, and he was like, "I thought we was done with this and it was
Right. Like
so
I got my kid.
cruel. That was so cruel, like, when you look back on it, like, if knowing everything she had gone through, like, that was so cruel to say that to her. That
It
was
was.
so
And they were
cruel.
already married. And he's
Mhm.
telling her, like, yeah, I brought a kid to the table already. I'm not interested in that.
Mm-mm.
Whereas King is like, I got my kids, but I'm gonna
We can do
I'll
this.
do it for you.
I'd rather have a car, but we can do this. I'd rather not have
Right.
a car, but I'll give you a
Right.
baby, even if we
Right.
have to go to a lab to get one. That's insane, and he wasn't even willing to do that. It's just I don't know. I don't even know what Curtis was thinking, like, why would he even think and even his apology when he pulled them to the side and Jackie had to interrupt him, like, "We're not gonna say
Yes.
if we offended." I'm like, "Oh my goodness." Like, they're not even on the same page in any aspect. They don't even seem like a team. They're not a team. They're not a
They're
team. Like,
not.
they're not on the same page, and that just
But
became
that's
more obvious.
they're very similar to Simone and Cecil at times, but she's
Mm.
not willing to be vulnerable in the same way that Simone is. Like when
Yeah.
Simone gets fed up, she lets it be known, I'm fed up. This is how I feel. When she gets it back on track, we're good now.
Yep.
I'm good with the boys now. But it's like they won't allow that same type of vulnerability that
They
Simone
won't.
allows.
They
And,
won't.
people come back and give their opinion on what's going on in their relationship. But how do you feel about the fact that Dr. Simone and Jackie unfollowed one another? Like, what do you think about that and their friendship?
I think that on this show, like, that's probably been one of the most heartbreaking, um that's so heartbreaking, like, to come on this show with someone that you're longtime friends
A
with,
lifelong
have it
friend.
like, she delivered their babies, like, to have it dissolve over some stuff that happened on this show to me is wild. I don't
Wow.
understand it, and I don't understand what kinda pull Heavenly has over these women that they just abandon all type of common sense and become her friend. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I for sure don't see how Heavenly would be a better friend to her than Dr.
And
Jackie,
Simone.
then s because Simone called her out where she was wrong for calling out that lady's fertility was it Buffy's fertility
Buffy,
issues? That's kinda where but Jackie was wrong for that, like,
100%.
that's so sad to me to watch their relationship break down, even to know, like Andy Cohen called out the fact that they're not sharing a dressing room for the reunion, and they have in all seasons
Yes,
prior. So there is a very real wedge there. Like there's a
it
very and it's
is.
so sad. Even when you think about the fact that these babies that she delivered for Simone when they graduated, she wasn't invited to their graduation. Like
Mhm.
that's sad to me. Like that is so sad that they allowed it to get here. And I think that
I agree.
I'm putting more of the onus on Jackie because if I have to accept if you're friends with my enemy and I have to accept that you become better friends with my enemy, I don't need a friendship like this.
Right.
Like, I
The
don't
fact
need
that you were even
anything.
able to align yourself with
Ugh,
that
with
person to
her
begin with. I mean, we've talked years ago, we talked about if we went on a show together, and it's like oh Lord, gotta edit this out. Giselle and
they
Robin,
are real
like,
friends.
they are in
Real
fact,
friends.
they are real
Yes.
friends. Like, they are going to keep it real when it comes to one
Yeah.
another. Like, how do you come in here and get in between us? And the thing about it is Jackie has shown herself to be a leader from season 1, because if you remember from the very start, that is where her relationship with Mariah broke down because
Mm.
Mariah made that comment about her not being a mother when she was trying to explain why it
Mm.
hurt her so badly that Toya went and shared with other
Oh,
people
about
that
Lauren.
her husband, yes, adopted her
Yes.
daughter. And it's like Jackie has not been cool with Mariah since.
Since
So, but
then.
it's like the whole cast, she did the whole lemon lemonade conversation or whatever. She's a leader when she wants to be, but when it comes to putting Heavenly in her place,
She refuses to
she
do
doesn't
it.
do it.
She refuses
She
to do
doesn't do
it.
it.
It just makes
I
you
don't understand
wonder,
it.
like, why not? Like, why not put her they have something over one another, they have to, like, Heavenly has to have something over her, where she won't go against her, because 'cause I've never seen anything like it. Because Heavenly just I've never seen someone be so despicable on screen, but then have such good friendships off camera. Like, which
Right.
one is
Right.
real? Like, which one
Right.
is the real you? Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
I don't know.
I've never seen anything like that before, ever. I've never seen anything like it because we see her in the worst light, like doing the worst things. But
Yeah.
yeah, but so back to Simone and Cecil and their boys, like their whole storyline this season. I told you, I cried when Simone went off on those boys because I could 100% feel her. And I loved how Cecil's brother got him together. His brother,
Together. Did you see him
girl,
this past week versus Dan, where he chimed into
yes.
the conversation and was like, I didn't support your mom. Yes, Cecil,
You
welcome
did
in.
not.
Welcome in to the
Yes,
conversation
and
of
when she
being a
said it's
parent.
3 against 1, I was like, "No, no, no, absolutely not. Like, you and these kids against me? No, she
Yeah.
could have
But,
adopted a
the mom
daughter.
is the bad guy a lot of the times.
Always.
Like, my mom was the only
Always.
disciplinarian I had, and
Mhm,
that's just like, fathers sometimes, they wanna be the fun dad, they wanna be the
mhm,
cool dad, but it's like,
mhm.
these are young men,
Yep,
and Simone has good boys. They're good,
they
regardless
are
of,
good.
whatever we see about them on
They're
TV. They're
spoiled,
in college.
but
Some
they're
kids
good.
don't even make it that far.
They
They've been there
graduated
for
college.
right, right, and we watched them as little boys,
Yes.
and, she's a good mom, they're good parents, but she was it I can't remember if it was the reunion or Watch What Happens Live where Andy Cohen said something to her about it, like spoiling her kids or if it's anything that she wishes she could have done differently. And she's like, "No, that's what we do." She was like, "I had a single mom, she spoiled me." And it's like, yes, we definitely want to give our kids things that we didn't have. We've spoiled ours without even trying to do it, but at the same time, we want them to be grateful. We want them
Mhm.
to recognize you're blessed, and just be a little bit grateful for the things that we've given them. So
I wonder
I
how
understand.
old her boys are, like, when this was filmed, because they say that at 25, their frontal lobe develops and they become more aware of
Mhm.
all of that stuff that we sacrifice for them. She was on Watch What Happened Live, and she was like, "Oh, he's the perfect kid," the one that she wasn't cussing out. She was like, "He's always been the perfect child," and I was like, "Oh." Like, he was so sweet, and she was like, "He's the
Yeah.
perfect kid, he's always been the perfect child." It was just, the other one who she acknowledges is like her, who has the same
Mhm.
drive and ambition that she has, which kind of frames it differently, so it's like, so the other one is like Cecil. The
Right.
perfect kid is like Cecil, the man that you marry, but the one
Mhm.
that's so entitled and feels like
Is
you
like
should
you.
get him a Tesla because he's tired of looking at his Jeep, is like you. That was hilarious to me. Like, oh
It
my
wasn't
god.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's how
but I
these
got
kids
it.
think though. But yeah, her boys are good. I'm excited to see Toya and Eugene's boys.
But I love that one, like, cooks. I just love them. I love when they were
Mhm.
talking about, like, you know growing up and sex and all of that stuff. I love
Yes.
those boys. I love when their report cards was out and she was giving them that money. I was like,
Mhm.
I love this. I love Toya watching her as a parent. I love how she cares for her house. I love how she even cares for her husband because people may see her and Eugene bickering a lot, but there is a lot of love there. And I think that it's
Yes.
admirable that they understand one another and that they love
Yes.
one another. They accept each other for where they are. And I
They
love the
do.
length that he's willing to go to provide for his family. I
Right.
love that. I love that he's willing to do whatever to provide for them. I love it.
Y
And I love that she seems to be a better steward over their finances. Like,
Mhm.
you can see their growth. Like, you
Right.
even on one of the reunion teasers when Andy was like, "Are you still in the same house?" She was like, "Yes, why wouldn't I be?" And he was like, "Well,
Yeah.
we moved a lot." And she was like, "And we bought them all." I was like, "You better tell him because it's not an easy thing to buy multi-million dollar homes. Like, let's not
Right.
act like that's normal in the real
Uh,
world. Let's not act
right, and
like
let's
people
not
can
act
do
like
that
she
over and
doesn't
over
get
again."
a check from this show also, like, when people
Right.
say, "She doesn't
It doesn't
work."
work.
Yes, she does, and her husband supports whatever
Yes,
professional endeavors she decides
yes,
she wants
yes.
to partake in, and that's just something that people are a little bit envious of,
Mhm,
and, I mean, I love the fact that Eugene does not care. It's like,
mhm.
"I'm not gonna back
Don't
down. I'm gonna
care.
be this
Yep.
supportive spouse. That's who I am." I love it.
Me too. I'm here for Toya and Eugene. I love them together. I think she can mouth off a little bit, and I think behind the scenes, he probably reined that ass in. Like, we probably don't see it, but I'm sure behind
Right.
the scenes, you know what I'm saying, you can kinda rein her in a little bit. But I
But
just I love them.
that's all that they have to say, like, you
Mhm.
just keep bringing that up, but then they've been married almost 20 years,
Yes.
and he likes that mouth. He likes the fact that he doesn't have somebody that he can run all over, like, they
Right.
balance each other out
Mhm,
impeccably. It's
mhm,
normal to me, like,
mhm.
if both of them were like the other, they wouldn't be together,
Yeah,
they're just I think they're a great couple, and, I like the real couples. I like the ones
yeah,
who are real. Those are the ones who are going to stand the test of time because when
yes.
you put on a face or pretend to be somebody that you're not, you just wait for the embarrassment because it's
Yeah.
coming.
It's coming. It's coming. Yo, I don't know what Heavenly is doing to keep her tea from being spilled, but it's obvious her husband is kind of like I like Dr. Damon less and less each season. Like
Yeah.
I'm not here for him. I don't think that I'm not here for him. I think that he's as despicable as his wife because he doesn't separate. He
Right.
doesn't he needs to tell her, "You're going too far," and defends her and, "Well, your wife did this." His wife starts it all, like, she starts it all.
Right.
Heavenly is just and to think that she's gonna be a politician, like, what? And you're
And
mad
it's
people
like
won't
we need
support
that.
you?
We need that, but it's like the first thing you can do when somebody makes you upset is say your mama.
Yo,
Like,
mama,
what are
ugh,
we? This grade are we in? Like, really? And what are you gonna? And you don't say anything, but you want Eugene to say something to Toya. Like, what is with the double standard? How does
ugh.
that work? How does it work? You have two people with these mouths, and then you just want Eugene. You think Toya is worse than Dr. Heavenly?
I just give Toya so much credit because I woulda whooped her ass. You're not about to raise your voice at my husband. Like, we not about to have this
Right.
conversation about you raising your voice at my we that's just not a conversation I'm gonna tell you one time, then after that,
Right.
it's gonna go to
We know you
fisticuffs.
play. Right.
I don't play with you. You're
But
not
you
about to
know,
talk crazy to my husband
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
demand respect for yours. It don't work like that.
Right. Demand that everybody respect daddy.
The fact that you even call him daddy, that's weird. That's weird
Yeah.
to me.
That's
Ugh.
very unnatural to me. Like, there's one daddy.
Right.
And
Whether he was in your life or not, it's not the man that you
right.
lay I think that's weird when women do that shit. I think that's weird. I'm sorry. I have my
It's just
own
weird.
that's
It's just
weird.
very weird. And she's so assertive when it comes to everyone else, but then so submissive when it comes to him. That's just I don't disrespect daddy.
Meanwhile, you got Enfamil in the cabinet saying he lactose intolerant. Like, it's not Lactaid out here. Lactaid, soy milk, almond milk,
I
oat milk,
forgot about that.
cashew milk. But this grown
Right.
ass man is drinking Enfamil with his cereal. What?
Right. Silk and all of that. Yeah. What's going on in there?
A baby. They got a baby, a grandchild somewhere that they don't wanna talk about. Like, they didn't wanna talk about that arrest that their son had for resisting arrest with the police. What?
Yeah.
Insane. Insane. But, yeah. So that's that.
Yeah, we'll be back for the reunion to discuss that. So I'm excited. I can't
I am
wait. They all had their red
too.
on. I'm ready.
Thank you for joining in. We will see you next week as we recap the part 1 of
Of
the
Married to Medicine.
reunion. And Angel, we'll see you next week, right?
Yeah. Of
Okay.
course.
Bye, guys.
Something